Hi, I'm Molly with West Virginia University Extension Family Nutrition Program, and today we're going to make a garlic tomato bruschetta. This is one of my most favorite recipes. I've already washed my hands and my ingredients for our recipe in the cooking surface, so I'm all ready to get started. The first thing we're going to do is take a 1-pound loaf of French bread and slice it and toast it under the broiler or in the toaster. And I'm going to cut thin pieces. A bread knife works best with a serrated edge, so you don't end up squashing it. You could certainly use a whole grain baguette if you could find that. I've got my loaf cut, and I'm going to put these cut side up on a lined baking sheet. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. It is going to crisp up very quickly. The next thing I'm going to do is add our garlic. The recipe calls for 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. Now, depending on the size of your garlic, runaway garlic, you could have a little teeny tiny clove, or you could have a big huge clove. So you kind of have to just decide how garlicky you want it. I think I'm going to do 2 of these rather large ones. So when you take the garlic off the bulb, it's covered in like a paper. To remove that, you could sit there and pick it all off, but I like to put my chef's knife on top of it and hit it with the palm or the heel of your hand, and that separates the skin right away from your garlic. So easy. So then we've got your clove of garlic, and I'm just going to make slices. And then once I've got my thin slices, I'm going to kind of turn it around, go the other way, keep the tip of my knife down on my board, and really just move my wrist and kind of do a rocking motion. So that's 2 rather large cloves of garlic. I'm going to go ahead and put that in my bowl, and I'm going to check on my bread. It's almost ready, not quite. Needs to be nice and toasted so that it can hold up to everything we're going to be piling on top of it. So next I've got my fresh basil. And when we cut fresh basil, you want to remove it from the stem and kind of spread out our leaves. Then to cut our fresh basil, you want to stack up your pieces, and then we're going to kind of roll it up. And now I'm going to run my knife through it and make a chiffonade. And I'm just going to very lightly go through my roll. And again, I don't want to push too hard, be too forceful. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm going to add this to the garlic. And next we've got our tomatoes. We're using a Roma tomato. They aren't as juicy as like a slicing tomato, which is good because we don't want too much liquid. When I cut a tomato, I'm going to cut the tip off so that it's flat. And now I'm going to make 2 more flat surfaces, just like that. I'm going to now go cut half moon shapes and then stack those up and cut chunks, and then run my knife through, keeping the tip down and my fingers out of the way, and just kind of get a nice dice with that tomato. Okay, I've just diced my 4 medium-sized Roma tomatoes, and I'm gonna add that to my bowl. Now I'm gonna add about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We really want to go easy on the salt at first, definitely, because we're also gonna add some Parmesan cheese, which is a very salty cheese. So add a little bit of salt, a couple of cranks of fresh ground black pepper, a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, and a 1/4 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. It definitely is cheaper to buy a block of Parmesan cheese and grate it yourself. Then we're gonna mix that all together. And we want to refrigerate this for an hour to let all the flavors come together. So I've removed our bruschetta mixture from the refrigerator and it smells so good. Our bread is toasted and I'm going to put them on the plate. Now we toasted these to help hold the bread up to this mixture that we're going to add. After it was refrigerated, it brought out some of the juices. That is gonna get absorbed into this toasty bread and just knock your socks off. And I'm just gonna place, I would say about a tablespoon on each piece. And now I'm ready to dig into one. I've had people tell me they don't even like tomatoes and love this bruschetta. I hope you check out our website for the full recipe and our YouTube channel for more videos. Thank you for joining me today in the kitchen, and I hope you give tomatoes and this garlic tomato bruschetta recipe a try.